So I got one more fruit to eat, and I was driving to find the mosque, and I was thinking I maybe could take some picture of it or a video, but in my mind it was what I experienced in Kenya when I was there in Kenya. We were in Nairobi to a place, I think it was a church we should go to, and we passed by a mosque, and I'd be so happy to see the mosque, and I say to these people I was with that I am going to take some picture of the mosque in here in Nairobi. And they'd be frightened and say, no, 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 don't take any picture. They go angry at us and we can be killed also. We were in Kenya, not in Sweden. So that was in my mind when I come to that area where the mosque should be. So I decided to not take any videos. But I took some picture, and it was not built any mosque there. It was a flat ground only. But it was a house that was built there. And the fence around that area was open, so I drive in to that area. I was in Sweden, so I was not scared to be killed, but maybe they go angry at me for driving in there. So, but that doesn't matter for me, as long as they don't kill me. So I drive there with my scooter, and it was a beautiful day today, and I turned around there. I didn't know what to do because it was closed doors to that house, but I saw that there were about 8 cars parking there in around that small house, and I turned around and I was thinking I drive away. I have seen where it is at least. But then it come a man calling me, and he asked me what I was doing there. And I say that I want to know Islam. I say to him. And that is right, because I want to learn about all religions. And that he come out to me and he say, I'm going to talk to someone that have with this, with our mosque to do, he say. But it's a prayer time now. So I say to him that I can wait outside until the prayer is over. I didn't mind to do that because I sit in my scooter and it was sunshine. So I sit and wait. And then it come out 4 men, and those was though a little higher people. They have this kind of dress with a grey dress and hats on, white hats on them, and Imam people. And they had a Quran with me, and I have taken a picture me holding the Quran. And they gave me some information also in paper, informations. And then they say it maybe will be rain, so they will walk in and come out with a plastic bag and lay all these books and information paper in the plastic bag. And then they say we don't know if the women is here. They say, so I drive away, but then after a while I gave them my telephone number and address and everything, and after a while it was ringing in my telephone, and it was a woman that talked to me, and she said, we were in our part of the house, women's part of the house. We were there when they say that it was a woman outside. So if you want to come back, she say. So I drive back again. And then I go in there and we sit, and they ask me if I want to have some coffee, but I say I don't like to drink coffee, but I can have a little tea, I say to them. And then we sit and talk, and they say there is no prophet more than Muhammad, and that's nothing more happen in Islam. And it is the same in many religions, that there is only one prophet, and then God doesn't talk to anyone. And that is what men have told me, that God doesn't talk. God doesn't talk, at least not to women. God, if he talked to someone, he talked to a man, but never to a woman. And it's offended me, of course, as I hear from afterlife and God. And and so they say to me, those Muslim women, that the prophet, it had only been one prophet, and that was Muhammad, and it was in 600 for about 1500 years ago, and nothing happened after that. And it's kind of I know some of you don't believe that. You shake your head and say that can't be, that everything was laid down. Nothing was heard from God anymore in year 600 about, and nothing happened during all these years. And that is not God. For me, is it not God that he stopped talking? He stopped talking to. He have never talked to women, and he have never, and he stopped to talk to men in 600 year 600 is lots of years where God not do anything. But I believe that in the Buddhist people believe that God is there, but he is far away, but he not intervere. He don't do any action on this planet anymore. Like that, they say about that. But I understand that a little. I understand today. I have not done it before. That he is not to be so much in action. And when people say, I don't, if they have heard from God, they say, I have not heard from God. I feel like he's so far away from me. And it's true, because he don't need to do so much work, because he has so much people that can do the work for him, that still are alive in afterlife. So why should he come and speak to everyone that want to hear from God? You hear from afterlife, but you want to hear from God himself, and that is very selfish. That's a very big sin, to think that God should take his time to talk to you only, when there is so much going on in the whole universe. And so I was not satisfied with what the women say, and I knew that already. I don't know if I told you that in the past episode I did before I left my home, that women, they are very, very angry and not in Quran. I know since before that it says that you should welcome in all the strangers, every strangers, and let this person sleep in your house and be like your family member. It says, so the women that is like those women I met, they don't understand the Quran, that is wrong to be angry and hateful to people that they don't know. So that have nothing with God to do. That is some sect like a way to think, like the women. But the men that was coming out, they were very friendly and were laughing and talking and those things. They were not like the women that was so hateful. But I got some contact with a young, there was young women, and they were better than the old. So they have changed a little, and I hope they don't go so hateful and angry as those older women. And then I read on internet when I come home, why is there no female prophet? And I be surprised over the answer that it is. But that gave me an answer for myself also. Why didn't God use me when I was 16 years old like that, and I could have done so very much things if I have started me in a young age. And but there in Islam, the answer was why it's no female prophets. It's because they have this bleeding every month, and they should give birth to children, so they couldn't be a prophet or messengers, as they say. They don't say prophet, but they say messengers from God, and that's because they have this bleeding. So I got the answer from God why He come and talked to me when I was 48 years old. I was 48 years of age, and I didn't have, normally I had bleeding, but normally a normal woman, she have stopped her bleeding in that time, and she don't have any kids, give birth to any kids anymore, if it was not this, it had become that they can do, so they be pregnant nowadays, but in that time, in the old time, they have their bleeding and they're responsible for to have children, and so that was the answer. Why God choose? He had choose me already when before I come to earth, but He was not talking to me like He did when I was 48, and God waited so long time, so I wanted to make a suicide, because life around me and my life was so very hard, and as I didn't know God, I didn't know how to handle with it. But God come when I was going to be 48 years old. So that have no meaning in what they say in Quran, that women can't be responsible to be the messenger from God, because they have this monthly bleeding that make them irritated and have much pain and all these kind of things. But for me, I have never had been irritated because of the bleeding. It didn't work in that way for me. Instead I be a little childish when I was bleeding. I laugh much more in that time. I had very much pain, but that we have pills that take away the pain. So it's not very hard to be a messenger today. And as I said, God was waiting until I was 48. And so I drive back home, and then was my neighbor upstairs, and I show him the Quran book, and he be very surprised that I have got it. So that's what happened today, and I going to look inside the Quran, but as I don't know if I told you in the beginning that when God come down to me and talked to me, he stopped me from could read books anymore. I have not read one book since I was 48 years old, and because I should listen at him. So I will come back there to this Islam because I need to work with these women to not be so hateful. And then I ask about to cover my head. I say, do I need to do that? And they say it was free will about it. I told them that I can't have anything on my head because I'm so warm over on my head, so I don't cover my head, not even in the winter time. I do it if it's snowing for a little while, but as soon as I can, I take it off because I be too warm in my head. It's much going on in my head, so it be so warm. And that's what happened today. And you will see that I have taken a picture where I hold the Quran book also. Thank you and God bless you. Some people are interested of the podcast, and I'm thankful for that.